Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 8 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series. I have just done a little bit of mining between this episode and last. You can see my dire hammer is actually pretty low on durability, something we're probably going to want to remedy. But we'll take care of that in just a few minutes. First off, I'm just pulverizing and cleaning up all my items and stuff here. Hey, my machines are out of power. What's going on here? I've got a full hardened energy cell. I'll tell you what's going on here. I've just updated to the latest version of the pack. So I know this episode is coming out a few days after the pack has updated, but in case anybody is just recently updating or hasn't figured out how to fix this, let me go ahead and show you what happened real quick. Due to a update that occurred for thermal expansion, they had to change the way the TE conduits worked a little bit. So in order for that to happen, unfortunately, they had to take any conduits that were already placed in the world and make them no longer function. But don't worry, it's really easy to fix. First off, just run around and pick up all the conduits that you have placed in the world. So I don't have too many placed, and hopefully none of you guys have too many placed either. When you mouse over it, you're going to see this big red message that says you need to put this in a crafting table to get the new item. Simply go ahead and place it in there and then pull it out. And you're done. All fixed. All remedied. Not a big deal, right? I told you guys that would be easy. So let me just rerun this cabling and such here. Wanted to show you that on camera. Like I said, I know this episode's coming out a little bit late. Oh, it's the same for fluid ducts and any other, stuff as well. So you have to do the same with fluid ducts and item ducts and basically any other thing that you have in your world, like so. There we are, fluid ducts all fixed up, placed in the crafting table again. Nice. So you're ready to rock. This is cool. Ooh, I see what he's done. Nice. Okay, cool. Looking good. And here we've got our aqueous accumulator doing its thing, putting the water in there, running the power. Awesome. So you should be getting filled up, and we just need to run some more leadstone energy directly like so. And we should be good. There we go. Now our machines are running again. Perfect. So this episode, I'd like to tidy up this machine room just a little bit. There's a few things I'd like to get going just to kind of make sure everything's working properly. And there's maybe one or two other things I'd like to get in place, but we'll see what happens. First off, though, I think I need to do something about my dire hammer. It's awfully dire. Dun, dun, dun. All right, what can I do? I'd like to upgrade it. So let's see what upgrade paths I have available on the dire hammer. I believe I left a free one on there. If not, we can take care of that too. All right, so I put all modifiers are for redstone. That's no problem. I can fix that up. What I'm going to need, though, unfortunately, is to use a diamond for this, but it's totally worth it. Let's come over here and get ourselves a bit of gold and a diamond. Good, I've got a good decent number of those. Nice to have a little bit of fortune on your pick when you're mining. And let's get ourselves a leadstone flux capacitor. So there's a bunch of different kinds of flux capacitors available out here. We can see that there's, let's see, flux capacitor. There we go. We've got a leadstone flux capacitor, hardened, redstone, and resonant. So all different kinds, and basically what they are batteries for thermal expansion. So they can store energy, and you can see here that they can send and receive energy and just store large amounts. So in order to utilize what we're going to do here, tubers. Oh, that's funny. Clever, but not rechargeable. Nice. What's that cost? Oh, just potato, lead, and redstone. That's funny. All right, but for this one, we're going to want to use the leadstone one, which is a couple pieces of lead, copper, and sulfur. All right, I might have sulfur. Good, I've been finding that downstairs. Otherwise, I think there's a way to craft it. Maybe not. That's right. There's a way to craft the other version of sulfur. You can get it from IC2 by running gunpowder through an extractor. There's a couple different ways to get sulfur. All right, and then we needed lead and copper. What was it? 1 copper, 2 lead, and some redstone. 1 copper, 2 lead, and some redstone. 3 of them actually is all I need. Cool. So let's craft up our leadstone flux capacitor, and while I'm at it, I'm going to make a block of gold. One thing I did do is add a tool station to my base here so that I can upgrade and repair my tools without running outside to the smeltery. So I can just do this right here. So first off, I need to add another modifier to my hammer. As we know, we've used up all 3 of the modifiers that were available. Now you can only do this once, so don't think you can just add diamonds and gold to your hammer and have as many modifiers as you want. You can only do this once ever. Once you've done it, boom, you've got 1 extra modifier available. And for that modifier, I'm going to use the leadstone flux capacitor. Cool. Dire hammer, and it gets a nifty little drill on the front. That's right, this guy is now redstone flux capable. So we can see it's got a low number of energy. We have to charge it up. So what we're going to have to do now is, instead of repairing the tool, we can go ahead and recharge it using some stuff from thermal expansion. Let's see what we're going to need from thermal expansion in order to do that. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this thing down. I'll probably wind up moving it later on, but we're going to need the energetic infuser. For this we're going to need copper, redstone reception coil, okay? That all seems simple. Redstone transmission coil, which uses silver. That shouldn't be a problem. And then an electrum gear. Oh, all right. I'm going to have to get myself some electrum. Not a problem. So in order to get electrum, I need to make an electrum blend, which is basically pulverized silver and gold. That doesn't seem too bad. All right, so we're going to need a couple pieces of silver, a few pieces of gold. We're also going to need some redstone and some copper and a machine frame. Okay, not a big deal. So we're going to need at least 4U, and that'll do. So first off, let's come over here, turn off our pulverizer. There we go. Shift click the middle here, and it turns off the input and output on all sides. Cool. So I'm just going to put you back in here. You guys can go over, well, yeah, you're going to have to be done in a minute. But let's get, I think, 2 pieces of gold and 2 pieces of silver should be enough to get the 1 electrum gear that I need. So that's gold, silver, 1, 2, there we go. Craft those guys together. Gets me my electrum blend, which I'll go ahead and smelt up right now. And then we will turn this back on so that it starts running once again. Cool. Alright, that's not too bad, right? Yeah, pretty easy. Okay, so that gets me my electrum ingots, and in order to get the electrum gear, we needed an iron ingot as well. So let's craft it up. So I know we needed 1 of these. Oh, I forgot my redstone. No, I was forgetting something. 1 of you. 2 of you. And a machine frame, electrum gear, and that should get us the energetic infuser. So basically what this does is it allows you to recharge any tools and items that basically run on redstone flux. There's a couple available and a couple that are coming down the line that aren't available just yet, but should be soon. And let's see, if we come over here, I guess I'm going to need another leadstone. Just for now, I'm placing this here. This is all very much a temporary setup. I'm going to have things like a little bit fancier and a little bit nicer pretty soon. There we go. Leadstone energy conduit. I guess I'll go ahead and fix these as well while I'm at it. Yeah, I'll eventually automate everything and make it look pretty nice, but for now, we got this going. Energetic infuser, there we are. And it's going to start building up its internal charge. Awesome. What I'm actually going to do is set the output to the left here, so that it outputs into this chest. And simply place your hammer, or whatever tool you have, right in there. Okay? And it should start building up its charge. Awesome. Look at that go. Alright, I'll be back in a minute once this is done building up its power, and this thing should be doing just fine. Yeah, we're not killing the power down here just yet. We might be draining these guys of their internal buffer. Yeah, that's okay. Steam looks a little bit funny on the interface here. I know they just patched and updated thermal expansion, so I don't know if that's just like a visual weirdness or something. That's actually really weird looking. But, I'm not too worried about it. Alright guys, we'll be back in a few moments once we've got this all taken care of. Alright guys, we're back, and I have just upgraded my basement. Haha! Used a clear filter to clear things out, and boy does it look nice. Very nice, actually. Looks like I've got the proper distance thing set up here. Let's see, just want to double check. So here's where the lamp is sitting. It's, to here is 10. To here is 8. Okay, so I need to move it actually to here. I'm trying to get this centered nicely in the room, and basically I missed. So let's move this thing over. We can see I missed mostly because we can see that there's a little bit of a spot where, well, you could have seen it a second ago. It was on there for a second. So let's see, this is where I want it to be. So, boom. That should make a really nice and bright area once the lighting is all done sorting itself out. So that should be right smack dab in the center here, right? 9 and 9. Okay, so you should sort yourself out. Sometimes it takes a second for the lighting to update. There we go. That corner got fixed. All right, cool. So one lamp takes care of like a good 9 by 9 area. Any more than that, well, like 9 radius, right? So 9 in that direction plus 9 in that direction. That's about the radius of this thing. So any more, any larger of a basement, I would need another lamp. So I think we're in pretty good shape. So let's see, if I'm correct, my chest room should be right up here. Let's see. Yeah, that looks right. So my chests are right here. Okay, and here is my like living quarters area, and then here, of course, is my machines room. So use up a lot of energy from the energy cell to clear out that area, more than I expected to actually. I'm surprised it drained so much, but we're good. I'll let that recharge, and I think we're ready to move on and get ready to start building stuff. Cool. All right, so let's start with a little bit of a sorting system. Yeah, I think that sounds like a good plan. I'm going to probably wind up making more than one sorting system as the series goes on. I'm going to start with a really basic early game simple sorting system, and then we'll move on to something a little bit more complex, and then more complex, and eventually we'll get into like a really complex and crazy sorting system that'll just basically be ultra crazy powerful. But at the beginning, our main goal here is just a simple basic sorting system. It's going to allow me to come into my house and deposit everything into a chest. I'm thinking I might move this thing here and probably relocate him into this corner. That looks good. So tool station and crafting table right next to each other. This might be my input chest for sorting. So let's actually get prepared for that. Probably going to need a little bit more wood. But for now, I'm all right. There we go. So that's what I'll call my input chest for sorting. So my goal is to basically be able to come back from mining and place everything in this chest, and it'll automatically get dispersed throughout my base and have things taken care of. So what I want it to be able to do is any ores that need to get processed will automatically get pulverized and then smelted, and any items that land in here that I want to keep will wind up landing in any of the appropriate chests where they belong. And maybe even get things into the factorization barrels, and then at the very end, if there's just excess junk, like I've got just a ton of cobblestone and there's nothing for me to do with it, we'll go ahead and, figure something out to do with it probably. Maybe either trash it, or I've got another idea which we might want to do. So that's kind of the plan. I would like to start on that this episode. So one of the things I don't want to do, however, is have these lines of machines here used for my sorting system. For now, I've been just using the pulverizer and the redstone furnace to, do all the processing for me automatically, which has been great. Don't get me wrong, I've been enjoying it quite a bit. But for now, I want to, break that habit. And for that, we're going to be doing this right now. Cool. So I'd like to start off with sorting. So let's get to work. All right, guys, one of the first things we're going to have to make to get started here is what's called the induction smelter. Okay, this guy is going to be responsible for making a couple more advanced items from thermal expansion, and we've got it crafted right here. I'm going to place it right there. Cool. You can see this guy uses 40 redstone flux per tick, and basically this is a contraption. I'm actually going to shut down all the inputs and outputs. I really don't need anything going anywhere. It allows you to do several really nice things. First off, one of the examples is, remember just a minute ago when we made what's it called, the Electrum? Yeah. And then also, let's see, I'm going to get 2 of you and 4 of you. That should also work. Invar. You can make these a lot easier in the induction smelter. All you do is put your gold and silver in there together, and what they'll do is just instantly combine into the Electrum ingot. There's no need to combine them by pulverizing them first and then mixing the dust together and then smelting them. It's just a faster process overall, so a much nicer way to make things. And there's a couple things that you have to make in here. One of them is hardened glass, which we've already seen a little bit of an example of. And for that, we're going to need a good bit of obsidian. Cool. And we're also going to need some lead, I believe is the combination we need. Now it's obsidian and lead, but basically for this hardened glass, you actually need obsidian dust. Okay, so that's where the pulverizer comes in. You're going to get 4 pulverized obsidian per block of obsidian. Okay, then what you do is you combine in your induction smelter pulverized obsidian times 8 plus 1 lead ingot. I think that's the recipe. Let's see if I'm right. Yeah, I'm right. And you get 2 hardened glass. Cool. So you basically get 1 hardened glass per obsidian if you're really thinking of it that way. And I'll leave my lead ingots in there, and I'm ready to just grab a bunch of pulverized obsidian and toss this in here. Hardened glass can be used for fluid ducts, item ducts, redstone energy conduits, redstone energy cells, and it's also used in upgrading from the hardened portable tanks and strong boxes into the reinforced versions. So if you want to upgrade things, it's very useful to do. You can also make illuminators and test racks out of them, something we'll probably get into in a bit later. Oh, there we go. There was just a little bit of a delay there. Okay, so while that's pulverizing up, there we go. I'm getting myself lots of hardened glass. So obviously I'm going to be using item ducts in this sorting system of mine, but I'd also like to use something else. I think I'm going to use from Extra Utilities a sorting mechanism. Now again, this is going to be a pretty simple sorting system. We're going to have more advanced versions coming down the line, but for now, Extra Utilities has a method of sorting by way of pipes. Pipes kind of work like hoppers, but a little bit better and more advanced version of them, in that they'll be able to pull items out of inventories and transfer them along, finding the nearest available inventory to put things in. But one of the really useful things, especially when it comes to sorting, is the sorting pipe, this guy right here, which will effectively allow you to insert items into chests based on what items are already in there. So I'll show you what this is about in a minute, but basically when you use a sorting pipe, you can say, hey, if the item that's trying to go into this chest already exists in this chest, then you're allowed to put it in, otherwise you're not. And it's going to make sorting much, much easier. So let's get ourselves the hardened glass that we've got. How's my pulverized obsidian? I'm going to have to go obsidian farming a little bit later. It's a lot easier with the drill, by the way. Much easier. You can knock out 9 obsidian in one shot. Definitely the way to go. So to get started, I think what I'm going to do is use, let's say I want to use, trying to decide exactly how I want this to go. Yeah, I think I'm going to do item ducts to pull the items out of the chest, and then head down towards the area where I'm going to automatically pulverize and smelt things. Then I'm going to use the pipes from Extra Utilities to pull out of the smelting area, and also like the deposit area where those items will wind up if they don't need to get smelted, and wind up in all these chests. Does that sound like a pretty good plan? I think so. So let's get started, shall we? First off, I'm going to want a couple of chests. Well, I'm probably just going to want 2 chests. I might need to upgrade these to iron later on, but for now it's a pretty good start. And I'm going to want some item ducts. So let's get those going. Fluid duct, item duct. Okay, that's tin and hardened glass. Item duct. Wow, am I just like low on tin or what? Is that all the tin I have? I could have sworn I had a little bit more. Might need actually a few more of these. That ought to do. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to pull out of this chest. So we want to take any items that go in here and we're going to pull them out. So let's do that. We're going to hit the wrench here. There we go. Okay. So when we've got these things attached, and I'll show you up here so it's a little bit easier to see, blue means items can go into the chest, okay? Whereas red means items are going to be pulled out of the chest. And then the third mode is not connected at all. That means that this pipe does not connect to this chest at all, okay? So I'm putting this guy on red mode. All right, so we've got the basics ready. So that's going to be able to pull out of the chest here. Once it's out, I want it to head over to, I think, this... Where do I want this thing to start? Probably going to want them to start. Well, let's head back here and we'll see how we make out. Come here, you. That's one thing about working in the basement before I've got any form of flight is it's a little hard to run things across the ceiling, but I think I'll be all right now. Let's see. So right across here is where I want things to go. So items will flow across here, How's this sound? And one thing I like to do when I'm building designs like this is kind of map it out before I get there. So let's say this wall is where I want my pulverizing and redstoning to occur, my furnacing. So if I wanted to, I could have a chest here with, no, see, that's too low. Maybe a chest here, and then we'll 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That'll probably work pretty well. Okay, so this is kind of a template for how I'm going to build out this little design I've got in mind. Okay, and then once we've redstone furnace everything, we can kind of transmit it out, maybe behind it, along some pipes that will wind up probably coming over to a chest, which will then be sorted up into my sorting system via, yeah, that might work. Okay. So let's work this out. So I said I wanted to have a chest. So this is where things will go. For now, this is where everything will go. But in a moment, we're going to be changing that. And then I'm going to have item ducts. Okay. And we're going to set it up so that the item ducts land into what will probably eventually be 3 of the machines. I might even bump it up to 3 now, but for now I've only made 2. So I've got pulverizers and redstone. So pulverizer. And then underneath the pulverizers, I'll have the redstone furnace. I'll set up the pulverizer to output everything, input from the top and output both slots to the bottom. Okay, so that's how this is going to work. And the same for this one. Input from the top, output everything to the bottom. You are going to input from the top and output to the back. That sounds like a good time. Cool. So we do have to get power over here, but we'll handle that shortly. For now, I'm just getting the items transferring and whatnot. Okay. From there, we're going to set these guys to pull out of the back. 1, 2. And, yeah, that looks pretty cool. And you're going to basically pull into a chest. Okay, now there's a reason I'm using a chest as a buffer here, because then I want to be able to take what's in the chest and automatically transfer it into the inventories above using extra utilities. Does that sound like a good plan? So the only thing is, I might want to have to pull out the bottom here instead of the back. So I think I'm going to have to hook power up to the back of this thing. Yeah, let me run power into the back, so I'm going to output to the bottom instead of the back. And we'll output it like that. Cool. And we'll make this all look nice in a little bit, but for now I'm just getting the basic functionality going. Alright, so this is easily expanded, right? If I want to have another line of these, I just, here, pipe underneath, done deal, right? Really easy to expand. As for power, I'm thinking I'd like to make another leadstone energy cell and run some of this power that's being produced over in the corner into that. So let me craft that up real quick. Alright, just for now, so that I can make this nice and easy, I'm just going to swap these guys out. So put this redstone or leadstone energy cell here in place, and I'm going to bring the hardened energy cell I have over here. This is going to be a temporary setup just while I get things going. And I'm going to set you so that your output is to the back. Okay? That looks pretty good. Leadstone, leadstone, and leadstone, leadstone, leadstone. Hooray, hooray, hooray. And everybody's hooked up power-wise. Look at that. We're getting some power. We might be getting some power. We're not getting power. Why are we not getting power? Because I set you to input, not output from the back. There we go. Now everybody should be getting power, right? So I lied again. Why am I lying so much? You should 100% be outputting power. Okie dokie then. I'm going to figure out why this might be. Hey, there we go. I don't know why it was stuck. I think it was just being a little bit derpy. I actually wound up swapping it for the leadstone, thinking it was that, but I don't think it was. I think it was just being a little bit weird. So, not to worry. It's all sorted now, and we're getting power inside of our machines. Perfect. So what should happen is any ores that need to be, pulverized. Let's use cobblestone for an example, right? So all I got to do is set that to pull the item out. Now there's one other thing we need to do. Let's get ourselves up here. I just remember there's one more upgrade we need. Pneumatic servos, which require some glass, iron, and redstone. Not sure how I'm doing for redstone, so let's get some. We're going to need a few of these, so I'm going to craft, I don't know, 4 of them. We'll see if that's enough to get started. Okay, pneumatic servos now are an upgrade to the conduit pipes in order for them to really be interactable. So if I right click on this in prior versions of thermal expansion that you might have seen on Forgecraft or something, I'd be able to right click and set all kinds of settings. Can't do that anymore unless I install a pneumatic servo. Dun 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 dun. Now it's been installed and I have access to that awesome screen. I'm going to set this guy's redstone control status to low. And what he's going to do is now he's going to, when he's not receiving a redstone signal, pull items out and drop them into the nearest inventory available. The pulverizer should pulverize this into sand, which then gets dropped into the furnace, where it's turned into glass, which is then pulled out of the below inventories. Cool. Now, these guys didn't need to be upgraded because we've got pipes there, and they're automatically being pushed out of the machine. So it's not being pulled from the machine like this is being pulled out of the inventory. These pipes are just acting to allow the machine to push it into the pipe. Okay, now we've got a piece of glass. Cool. So if I'd like to get a few pieces of glass, it's not too hard. Just throw some cobble in here and eventually it'll filter its way down. But that's probably not what we're going to do. Okay, the next thing we do want to do, though, is install a pneumatic servo in this guy, because what we will be doing is filtering this pipe. Now, I don't have any items to filter with yet, but we'll get to that point in just a moment. Okay, for now, let's go ahead and finish setting this up. What I'm thinking I'd like to do is the following. Let's see, we're going to actually drill behind this wall and run some more item ducts, okay? And I think I'd like to interact with right down here. That looks like a good junction point to have. There we go. So for now, just to demonstrate this and how this is going to work, I'm going to set it up so that the following happens. If you are, we're going to whitelist this, so only the items put in this filter are going to be allowed into this chest, okay? Everything else is going to not be allowed in the chest. I'm going to whitelist cobblestone. Eventually what it'll be is copper ore, iron ore, gold ore, tin ore, that kind of stuff, so that anything that I want to have automatically processed winds up in here. But for now, this will work, okay? So we're going to do that. And if you're not cobblestone, you're going to continue along the path. Remember, item ducts will insert items into the nearest available inventory. So as they come down and filter along here, the first inventory it's going to hit is this guy. It's going to check the filter. Because it's in whitelist mode, it's going to say, hey, that's cool, I'll let you in there. And then it's not cobblestone, it'll continue along the path. And what it should do is it'll come down here. Now it's going to look for an available inventory. Because these guys are set to output mode, okay, it's not going to try and insert things into the bottom of the redstone furnace. Also, the redstone furnace is a little smart. It's already telling the pipe, hey, I can't accept items on this side because you've set the bottom of me to be orange. Okay, so the next available inventory slot is going to be the chest over here. So let's demonstrate this and see if it works. Okay. So let's come up here. We're going to insert a pneumatic servo into this guy as well, just because it's fun. And we're going to set the redstone control to low. Okay, so any items that go into this chest now should be sorted. All right, I'm going to place the following in here. I'm actually going to get a bit more cobble. Okay, we're going to do 1, 2, 3. Cool. So the items are going to start getting pulled out, and they're going to go down here. I'll meet you guys back here. Well, it doesn't look like it'll take too long, so let's see how right I am about this whole setup. Alright, so what we should see is the cobble making its way over to here. Cobblestone will go into this chest. Everything else possibly available to go and get sorted will not go into the chest. So cobblestone goes in, as we can see, and dirt will not. Beautiful. The cobblestone will then get pulled out, and one stack will get inserted to this pulverizer. Because it didn't fit, you can see it bounced out and went to the next available inventory, this pulverizer. If any more cobblestone were to land in here, for example, it would wind up eventually bouncing its way back into the chest. Okay, so the thing's being pretty smart. It's only pulling out enough cobblestone to allow it into the inventories that are available here. Cool, right? And then any excess cobblestone will eventually bounce its way around in the pipes, or maybe even make its way back into the chest. So if there's really no space, you can see some cobblestone making its way back up. Nice, right? So eventually we'll have a decent amount of glass from this. Cool. And we should have our gravel. Let's see. Gravel. I don't have an output for gravel yet on this thing because gravel won't fit in the redstone furnace, but maybe at some point we'll figure something out to make that a reality. But for now, we can see the dirt did wind up in here, and all the glass that's getting smelted is as well. So the very basic setup here is complete. We've got a system where we can sort any ores, and they'll wind up in both the pulverizer and eventually the redstone furnace. Cool, right? Now, this little leadstone energy cell isn't enough to store the power, nor is it enough to transmit enough power. It can only transmit, remember, 80 redstone flux per tick, as can the leadstone energy conduit. And this guy is over here. Well, we've got this guy requiring 40, this guy's requiring 40, that's 80, 20 and 20, yeah, we need 120. So basically we already are not providing enough power to get these things to run all the time. In order for this to work, we're going to need an upgrade to our energy conduits. Alright, so energy conduit options are basically leadstone, hardened energy current, which transfers 400 redstone flux per tick. That's not too bad, actually. It just requires a little bit of invar. I might actually jump straight up to that. Or finally, the top tier, which is the redstone energy conduit. This one's actually a little bit more difficult to make. But you know what? Hardened energy current. I'm not opposed to that. I might go with that just because it's only. Yeah. Let's see here. That's pretty good, actually. So I can upgrade my leadstone directly to hardened. I might actually do that. And then get maybe a better energy cell here too. I'm also going to need to run some power straight over to this guy. Okay, but for now, you know, the pulverizers are doing their thing. We're making glass. Everything seems to be working. Unfortunately, though, it does appear we've hit the old wrapping up point. So what I'm going to do is, hello, there's spider up on my roof. Get started doing a little bit more prep work between this episode and next, and then we'll come back next episode and we'll be ready to do a little bit more. I'd like to, next episode, have it set up so that the items that get dropped down here eventually make their way up into my chest. So we're going to pull items out of here and we're going to sort them into the chests above. And then we'll have a pretty basic sorting system. It's not going to be the most advanced one in the world, but, you know, it starts off nice and early and it's not too expensive, so it's a good early game sorting system. Later on, we'll definitely have stuff more advanced. Alright guys, for now, this is Direwolf20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and take it easy!